Comparing and Ordering Rational Numbers, Part 1. For this video, you need your Comparing and Ordering Rational Numbers notes. So if you don't have them, please take a moment and pull them out. Positive and negative rational numbers can be represented on a number line. You can use a number line to help you compare and order rational numbers. When comparing and ordering rational numbers, first express them in the same form. So this means if you're given a rational number that's a decimal and a rational number that's a fraction and you're told to compare and order them, you need to either convert the fraction to a decimal or you need to convert the decimal to a fraction, whichever one is going to make the problem easiest for you. They need to be in the same form. You can also compare place value if your rational numbers are decimals. And remember, positive numbers are always greater So always greater. You know what? Let's put always in this blank. Always greater. There we go. That makes more sense. So positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. Let's try the first example. Negative 1 2/10, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 8/10? So I need to set up my number line. I'm going to put the 0 here at the center, and then I'm going to number the number line according to what I've got. And I've got two decimals here, so I'm going to put decimals. That's 5/10, 1 whole, 1 5/10, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, but my numbers will be negative. So I need to place negative 1 2/10 on my number line. So I see the negative 1, and that's going to be somewhere in between negative 1 and negative 1 1/2. So I'm going to put a dot right there to represent negative 1 2/10. Now I'm going to look at 8/10, and I need to graph that on my number line. Well, that's positive, so it's going to be to the right of 0. That's greater than half but less than 1 whole. So I'm going to put my dot right about there on the number line, and that's 8/10. So remember, whatever's farther to the right on the number line is the greater number. And like we discussed earlier, positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. So negative 1 2/10 is less than 8/10. Let's try the next one. Again, we have two decimals, and this time they're both negative. So I need to graph them on a number line. And so I need to label my number line. Well, I'm going to put the 0 all the way over here because since I'm dealing with both negative numbers, everything on my number line is going to be to the left of 0. So I'm going to count in increments of 25/100. So this is negative 25/100. That's negative 50/100. Negative 75/100. Negative 1. Negative 1 25/100, and negative 1 50/100. So I have my number line labeled. Now I need to graph my points. Negative 1 40/100 is greater, or not greater than, but it's going to be in between negative 1 25/100 and negative 1 50/100. So I'm going to probably put it right about there. And then I'm going to look at negative 1 25/100, and I can see exactly where that goes on the number line. And remember, whatever's farther to the right is the greater number. So in this case, negative 1 25/100 is the larger number. Let's try one more for this video, and then we'll do a new video for the inside of our notes. So guys, I apologize. There is a big mistake here on this page. okay, on this problem. It says 3/58, and that 5 needs to go away. That should be 3/8. So go ahead and correct that on your paper real quick. 3/8. Now I need to go ahead and make my number line. I'm dealing with two positive fractions. So I'm going to put my 0 over here because all the numbers on my number line are going to be to the right of 0 because they will all be positive. I also noticed something about my numbers. I can get a common denominator with both of these fractions, which will make them easier to compare. 3/8 can also be written as 6/16 because if I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, by 2, I get 6/16. So that's an equivalent fraction to 3/8 with a common denominator. So when I label my number line, I'm just going to stick with 16ths. 1/16, 2/16, 3/16, 4/16, 5/16, and 6/16. So now I should be able to graph these on a number line. Now remember, 3/8 is equivalent to 6/16. So I'm going to graph it on my number line. And then I also have 5/16. And remember, whatever is farthest to the right is the greater number. So in this case, 3/8 is greater than 5/16.